Hello and welcome to episode 54 of Entertainment of Accents, the podcast where we talk about films, TV, all of it. Hi, I'm Ollie,
I'm Thom.
And I'm Ben.
and today we're talking about the 1993 film Falling Down. This will contain spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, Falling Down is the story of a man who we only know by his number plate as D-fens, who just kind of starts going a bit whack and smashing stuff and shooting people and that. And
Does.
it's all to try and get home in quotation marks to his ex-wife and child who have a restraining order on him. And then there's also a policeman, and it's like his last day, and he's trying to take him down.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Policeman is played by, it's the actor who played the lawyer in Godfather. I recognised him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Nice.
So, I thought that the story was pretty good. The plot
Yeah.
was fairly tight, simple, straightforward. He needs to get from A to B and cause as much havoc as possible on the way.
Yeah. I feel like
And
it
they
did a
did
good
that.
job with such a sort of basic story. But like just that opening scene, I think does a great job of sort of building that sense of kind of chaos, and you sort of see his reaction, and initially you don't really know whether to sympathise with him or not, because um, I'm sure we'll come on to it, but there's quite a lot of stuff that he's kind of fighting against, a lot of these kind of flaws in society. But as it goes on, you start to kind of root less for his character. I'd say he's sort of I wouldn't say he's like the hero of the story at all, especially when you like at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I especially like that opening sequence, like the editing of it. It really like built up that sort of tension you'd have like if you were stuck in a traffic jam for like hours. And like it's somehow managed to, in the space of like what 2 minutes, make you like really empathize with him, which obviously disappears when he starts beating people up and shooting them.
Yeah,
Indeed.
But like at the start of the film, like you do seem to sympathize with him a lot. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Uh, it's kind of you kind of just find out more about him as it goes on, which I liked the style of, because then, because he kept having to bring that briefcase with him everywhere, and you kind of have the whole thing of, why has he got a briefcase everywhere? And then when he gives it to that guy in the park, and then he opens it, and it's literally just like a packed lunch in there. And then you're like,
yeah,
well, why is there just a packed lunch in his briefcase? And then you find out that because he was fired but was pretending to have his job for his mum. So, and then it's like, oh, and a lot of the pieces start fitting together.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
yeah,
I think that all the action scenes were like pretty intense, like especially the drive-by shooting bit where he ends up shooting the guy in the leg. That was pretty. I thought that worked well, and they also managed to have like the tension and kind of like the comedy as well, like especially in the like Whammy Burger or whatever place it was,
Yeah.
when he's just like pulling out this machine gun and accidentally like shoots the roof. He's like, oh, sensitive trigger, sorry, and then and then there's like he says that he wants the manager to prepare his meal for him, but the manager's just stood there in shock. So all the employees are having to like put the order in his hands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
because
funny
I
joke
think
he
it's kind of
makes.
Funny joke.
yeah. I'd say this is it's not listed as a comedy, and I wouldn't say it is a comedy, but I definitely think it's got more elements kind of dark comedy than if you compare it to something like Gone Girl, where people were arguing that that was a comedy. I think that this is definitely just the fact that he kind of these massive like overreactions to quite like seemingly kind of trivial um problems, but then you start to like it, I think it does a good blend of some elements it treats more lightly and like comically, but then some are a lot more serious. And I do think that like especially in that scene with the breakfast thing, that's something that it's like less than 5 minutes after I think 11:30 when they stop serving breakfast, and on the face of it, you know, that's kind of a stupid issue and it's quite comedic. But I think the way that it deals with it at times is quite intense, and it's able to like build a lot of sort of tension with his character and the way he reacts to it.
Yeah. Sorry about all these awkward pauses. I mean, to be like personally, I'm trying to do a thing where I don't waffle on too much about like nothing and then drift off the point. But I feel like everyone's just tired.
I liked the thing with the policeman who it was his last day retiring, and I felt like he was the most fleshed out character in terms of uh his like dead daughter and why he wanted to stay at a desk job, and like if it's to do if his wife is controlling and stuff like that. I thought that he was Prendergast. That's it. He was a pretty good character.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd maybe wanted to see a little bit more of kind of that dynamic with his wife, because you saw it in like the phone call stuff, and I really liked in that final scene where he's talking about his daughter's death. But I agree that he was um probably the most interesting part of this. Maybe I don't know. I feel like he worked well, but some parts were a bit underdeveloped. I felt.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
at the start of the film, when it was clear that the policeman, Pendergast, was his last day, I'm not gonna say I was like not optimistic because the film seemed to be doing very well so far, but I was kind of like, it seems like a bit of a cliche. It's like it's the policeman's last day, and then it suddenly gets this big story, with this big villain, and he takes him down and then retires. Yeah, it seems like a bit of a cliche, but it was done really well here. So no
Yeah, 'cause I
complaints.
just instantly assumed he was going to die.
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a bit of No Country for Old Men, with like the retiring officer who's like trying to chase down the guy, but obviously because they're both, well, I guess like neither of, it's a bit ambiguous whether they could be considered as villains or heroes. I definitely don't think that he's presented as a hero at all, but it's not necessarily a villain because he's kind of out of his depth, and uh, you know, it's like a genuine sense of frustration, which isn't presented as like fully justified, but you kind of at times understand where he's coming from, and at times it could be argued that he is doing the right thing, like when he kills the Nazi that like takes him down to his basement.
yeah,
Yeah, but he does kind of start off just smashing up someone's shop because they
Yeah,
can't
I'm not
pronounce
saying he was.
five.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not
Ollie,
saying he was
oh,
a
no,
good
are
guy,
you?
but
I'm not attacking you, Ollie. I'm just saying it for the audience.
yeah.
Don't
I'm
worry.
on a podcast with a Nazi, and what are you? Some kind of unhinged psychopath?
No, I'm just not economically viable. That's the
Uh
problem.
Yeah, not
oh,
economically
did you guys
viable.
notice that the black guy who was brought in the phrase "not economically viable" when he was complaining about the loans was dressed identical to D-fens? Ooh,
Yeah,
that was kind of epic.
it
Yeah.
was.
It was.
Especially seeing as like what he was wearing was quite significant, seeing as that was like the thing that was used to describe him throughout, and the fact that when you get that revelation that he isn't working, that kind of makes it more shocking, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah. I think the character of defense is it's supposed to be like a way for you to look internally on yourself, because there's a point where I think he says something like, yeah, he says like, "I'm the bad guy. How did that happen?" But then when you've seen him like looking back on the videotapes with his wife and kid, he obviously had um some kind of like anger problems. Like he was just really overreacting when his daughter wouldn't go on like a toy horse he bought her and things like that, and would make these situations uncomfortable. So I think it's more supposed like the characters used to um like assess yourself and make sure that you're not doing anything kind of dodgy. I don't know
Yeah.
what to say other than just dodgy.
Yeah, because it definitely at first I thought that he'd kind of like when you see him in the traffic, I thought that would sort of act as a catalyst to set him off, and he kind of uh he's like protesting against all these and irritating things. Like the first thing that is obviously the traffic, and then the overpriced stuff in the shop, and then the um like the breakfast thing. But it's definitely not presented as something that he's shown to have been dealing with these problems for ages. And when you look back at when he's watching those old videos from like a past birthday, you can definitely see that he's kind of a bit unstable and volatile, I guess. And that's why um, you're able to sympathise more with his wife, who kind of shows a genuine sense of fear when uh, he's like she suspects that he's returning to the house. He's definitely driven by like his own uh like motives, and yeah, that's definitely, I guess, like a way of you looking at yourself and thinking, obviously not going to be this extreme, but like yeah, I definitely agree that it's like looking at your own behavior through this character.
Yeah, because he definitely didn't seem to notice that he was sort of going insane. Like, it seemed to be just he completely snapped, and didn't like. I don't want to say look at his own actions, like, but it was more like for him it was a gradual process, but for obviously like the rest of the world, um, he just snapped and then started smashing up the guy's shop, and after that it just got worse and worse. Um,
Yeah,
and obviously there's that whole theme of past the point of no return, where like when he finally did realize like that he'd snapped, he realized that there was no way he could go back from it anymore. Um, so he kind of like chose not to change anything and chose to like keep going, and then got surprised in the end when it was like actually explaining to him how it was affecting his family and everything.
yeah, he kind of seemed to embrace that role of a villain almost, and he as he like got these opportunities, he could. I wouldn't necessarily say that at the start he was reluctant, but he obviously started to get a lot more. Like when you see him at the like walking through the golf course, and he basically kills that guy because he like shoots the golf buggy, and
Oh yeah.
he has a heart attack. He's shown to be like really kind of sociopathic there, and kind of like at the start you could sort of say he's out of his depth, but here it looks like he's kind of sadistic. He's almost looks like he's like enjoying this, and yeah, I guess he's like sort of embracing that role as he starts to realize that, as you were saying, he can't turn back.
Yeah.
Mm.
What did you think of the final scene? Well, not the final scene, but like his final scene.
Where he falls down.
He
Ooh,
does fall down.
He falls down.
he falls down.
This is the moment the movie became fallen down.
Damn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What do you think of it then?
I asked
Violent.
first.
I thought. I guess he'd just given up and he was like, yeah, shoot me, whatever. Because he's like, oh, I've got a gun, and it was a water gun or whatever. I don't know if he was trying to make a point and make the policeman like feel guilty because he did just threaten to shoot him. So
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I could be reading this wrong, but maybe he'd sort of slightly realized the impact he was having on his family and like didn't want to live with that anymore. So kind of just like went through the whole thing to commit suicide.
mm,
Yeah. Because he had that thing where he was like, I don't want to. He was questioning whether he wanted to watch his daughters grow up, and he said not in jail. So, yeah, I guess he's sort of like realizing the destructive impact that he's having. So he's kind of giving up.
Yeah, he's
mm,
past the point of no return. He can't
is.
return.
he's
Now he's
fallen
fallen
down.
down.
Oh,
There are a lot of falling down references throughout the movie. I've got a little trivia thing here.
London Bridge.
Yeah, obviously London Bridge. That snow globe he gets has London Bridge in it. Obviously when he was with the Nazi, it was he couldn't move one of his hands because he'd fall down. Then when he asks the worker what's wrong with the street, and he's like, I don't know, I'm just keeping people from falling in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, were there any more?
The Pendergast's retirement cake had a bridge on it.
Well, that's because they were
And
going
guess
to
what?
London
Guess what
Bridge.
happens when he punches his chief onto the he falls onto the cake and knocks the bridge down.
Oh,
Ooh.
whoa.
When he blows up the
That's
phone
crazy.
booth, a guy falls off his bicycle. I think this is pushing it a bit here, but like, no,
How
the
many times
director.
does he fall down in the movie?
I don't know. We should
At least once.
have had a cow.
At least once.
Indeed, more than 0 times because he did fall down.
Did.
But how many times did he fall down?
Well,
Guess
literally
you'll
or
have to watch the movie
metaphorically
and
is the
see.
question.
Both. Oh, I need to watch the movie and
Yeah,
see. I've
watch
not
the
actually
movie.
seen the movie. I forgot to watch it.
You're doing pretty well to say you haven't seen it.
I just read the IMDb plot synopsis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I usually do. Saves a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's what I
If you
always
don't have to
do.
watch
All
the
this
film.
bluffing about 1.5 times speed is just because I'm a quick reader.
What did you think of Michael Douglas's performance in this? Because I thought it was much better than in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I've started to really like him as an actor with this film. I want to see more stuff he's been in.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Michael
feel like
Douglas considers this his favorite performance, so
yeah.
It's all
maybe you don't need
downhill
to.
from here. It's all
And
falling down that
his
hill.
dad considers this to be his best performance. This is it.
He had quite a
This
few
was
roles
actually,
after
ironically,
this.
his peak. Yeah, this was his peak.
Oh, I can't believe
And then
it.
afterwards, he
He was
would
so
start to
terrible
fall
in
down.
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I feel he was definitely better than in the game, but like his character was in a way kind of similar because he like in the game he's obviously just trying to end this and understand what's going on, and this he's just the whole time trying to return home. So I guess there were kind of similarities there, but I definitely think that yeah, it was his. Well, I mean, I can't really compare it to much else because I haven't seen him in many other films, but I did like it.
Yeah.
He
was good.
you're either like really good or really terrible at playing a character having a mental breakdown. You can't really be okay at it.
Yeah.
He was one of the good ones.
Who were the bad ones?
I'll have to think. Uh, I'm trying to think. There was this movie I watched with my partner that was just terrible. And it was supposed to have a character with a mental breakdown. I'll think of it before the episode ends. I will hold up the mountain of stuff you clearly want to talk about first. Yeah.
Yep.
This is
What
why
did
I
you think?
figured it'd be good to have a structure.
What did you think of the cinematography?
It was all right.
I thought it was really like outstanding in the first 5 minutes, but then kind of like tapered off.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it.
I liked it more with the scenes with Michael Douglas in, like the stuff when he's kind of confronted by those people when he like takes the guns off them and stuff. I liked it there, but I think with like the other characters it was just kind of average, and like I didn't notice it that much.
Yeah, it was serviceable.
Yeah. How about the music?
I didn't really
Didn't really notice it.
No.
An interesting thing that I found is that there were complaints the film was racist and also anti-white. So therefore, it hates everyone.
So
This movie leaves no one unhated.
But I thought the point of like the racist stuff was that like you're not meant to, like he's meant to be shown as completely irrational, and he's not necessarily meant to be shown as like fully supporting these things. He's just kind of insane at that point, and kind of I don't know, I felt like it was more of like just a wider attack on not race or anything like that, just I don't know, like just society in general, I guess. Like there were definitely parts of this were like anti-capitalist, I felt, but I never felt that, because obviously the bit with the Nazi, he's kind of out of his depth in that scenario, and he's never really shown to fully support those beliefs, I felt.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of is like that one throwaway line where the girl who was with the gang was being interviewed and was like saying it was a white guy, and the police were like, no, you're lying. But I'd say that's more anti-police.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
I think it used the race stuff to comment on other issues.
Yeah, I'd say that I wouldn't say the movie's like anti-police, but I'd say it definitely brings up some like questions as to like the effectiveness of it, because like for example, like when the wife's like calling her local police department and being like, my husband is threatening me and is gonna come and like attack me and my daughter on her birthday, they're just like, no, you're just being hysterical. And then like obviously in the I've forgotten his name now, the main police guy's department.
Rendergast.
Yeah, he's shown to be like one of the only like effective ones, and the others are just kind of like joking around and not really taking things seriously.
Because he works behind a desk, Ben, so therefore he's terrible.
Yeah. Grr.
Yeah. Because I think he was presented as I guess like his retirement might be symbolic of like as you were saying, kind of the deterioration in the police force, because I think throughout he was kind of shown to be more like genuinely, despite the fact that this was like his last day, he genuinely wanted to solve this, and there were obviously a lot of kind of distractions and people telling him to stop, most notably probably his wife, but I think that the fact that I just like the police in general were probably, presented as a bit incompetent and a bit like selfish, especially with the dealing of Michael Douglas's wife, and like not really fully enforcing the
Yeah, that was kind of awful, and the third policewoman was just like, oh well, the only thing you can really do is next time you have a vote on how many police cars there are, say we should have more.
Oh
Have
yeah.
a good day. Like, no, my ex-husband is gonna come and murder us. Please.
Nah.
Nah, you're just being hysterical,
Vote.
woman.
Oh, he's going to come kill you today? We'll wait for 6 months and then you'll be able to vote for more police. You should do
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
What do you actually think his like intention was, or do you think he actually had one when he got there? Because obviously, when he goes to like the other house, was it like a plastic surgeon's house, and
Yeah.
he's kind of going on about this ideal situation where he'll arrive and everything will be happy and like return to normal. And when he's enters and he's watching those old recordings, he's kind of I think that's when he kind of gets that epiphany that it's not all so brilliant as he imagines it, and he starts to realize that he has his own issues and he's kind of the one that is being destructive in their life, and kind of spoiling his daughter's um, birthday. But I definitely don't think he wanted to kill them, but I don't really know if he actually had a motive there or if he just wanted to, I don't know, I guess see her and kind of hope for the best.
I feel like his motive changed as the movie went along. When he first snapped, I don't think he wanted to, but then as he got more and more violent, it might have kind of gone to his head. And then when he phoned up his wife and was like, in South America, it's still legal to kill your wife. Oh, maybe he would have then, but I feel like as the movie went along, and obviously when you saw those VHS tapes of like him with his wife and his daughter, and saw that it's not just this perfect relationship with them, because it was actually him who had issues and was kind of mentally ill. I feel like at that point he just lost what he was going to do. So when he arrived, he still kind of wanted to have that perfect moment, like where he was hugging his wife and kissing her, and like went up to his daughter and said hi. But then after that, I don't think he was actually going to kill his wife.
No.
I feel like he just didn't know what to do. And then obviously, kind of all just came to a climax when he decided to just kill himself, because he figured he was a bad influence on his daughter's life, and the best thing he could do for her was just kind of stay away. And he didn't want to deal with that, so he fell
Yeah,
down.
he did.
He did fall down.
I'm going to keep pointing
But
that out.
But I mean that you do real like the last parts of the film where you see his daughter like having to, it's her birthday and like her friends have come round and you start of, and then the police officer's like, oh yeah, tell her tomorrow, and you start to realize, well, this, for him it's still selfish, this, because he's kind of taken the best alternative kind of for him to just ignore it by killing himself and not having to deal with the consequences. But for her, you saw that, like, I mean, obviously, like that childhood naivety when he returns and she's like, "Oh, look, it's daddy," and then she's like, his wife has kind of got to. She can't really lash out there and then because of her. But then when you start to see like the effects that it'll have on his child, you kind of that. I think that's when the your sympathy for D-fens is like is lowest. It's fallen all the way down.
Yeah. fallen all the way down.
It has.
Oh, I've remembered what the film was. Deadly Illusions. It's terrible. I don't know what the main actor was, but her pulling off a mental breakdown was awful.
Oh. Oh yeah, is that the new Netflix one or
Yeah.
something?
Oh, it's terrible. I might recommend it.
But
Cool.
yeah, because I feel like Michael Douglas was able to do that well without them like without them dealing too much with his character, because obviously there was quite a lot going on with like the subplots of trying to hunt him down. Whereas if you compare it to kind of other films where you see that mental deterioration, it's kind of more just focused on the protagonist. Whereas I felt like this was able to just show that breakdown in specific moments rather than kind of showing this uh, continuous like mental collapse. It was more like his like irrational reaction to a lot of these moments that you also kind of see uh, as being an ongoing problem when you like when you kind of understand the reasons for the divorce and stuff.
How did you think this movie held up to Joel Schumacher's later film, Batman and Robin?
I don't know. I'd say Batman and Robin's just a classic. You know, it's just
I know.
so good.
Is it okay? A thing actually about the film. You know when his glasses crack. I swear they
Yeah.
have like a W, and he's called William, but I wasn't sure. Because looking back at other photos, it looks like there were more cracks, but there's kind of a W shape. That was probably just a coincidence.
Time to bust out another trivia fact I've got. So his actual name is William Foster, or as he likes to be called, Bill Foster. And guess who's a character in another Michael Douglas film, Ant-Man and the Wasp? That's right, Bill Foster.
Whoa!
Coincidence?
Ooh.
I think so.
I've got a bit of trivia. I've got a bit of trivia.
Go on, bust out
The
your
two
factoids.
bags, the two bags he's carrying represent the two sides of his personality. Yeah.
Ooh.
So the briefcase is original,
Hungry.
normal life, and then the gym bag is his reckless, naughty life.
And then he leaves the good
And then he
bag and
leaves
says
the
he doesn't need it
briefcase.
anymore. That's the point
And
of no
also,
return.
the more black he wears, the more naughty he is.
That's racist. Get out.
No, but that's true though, because he ends up like dressed like G.I. Joe, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Look, I'm just reading the IMDb trivia, okay?
Yeah, sure. I do like the idea of the two bags.
Yeah, that was smart. I didn't pick up on that.
No.
Neither. So well done that one IMDb user.
Yeah. I love how like IMDb trivia, or like I'll occasionally go on like r/movie details and stuff. Like these people notice like really obscure things that just you look at and you go, "Oh, yeah." But then when you're watching the film, I can't think of one occasion where I've found anything cool like that in a film.
Yeah. And sometimes though on the movie details thing, it's like at the end of the film, Michael Douglas's character falls down. This is a subtle
Oh, that
reference
is
to the
deep.
name of the film, Falling Down.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I bet a lot of these people probably notice things like this on like their fifth viewing or something, and with a film that's like as old as this, it's probably difficult to come up with new like discoveries of stuff that people haven't already realised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they'll do that with new releases as well. Like you'll check
Yeah,
IMDb like 2 days after a film's come out, and it's like already filled with trivia. It's filled with goofs as well. How do you notice goofs the first time round? Like unless
Probably
they're
just
really
a coincidence.
bad.
It'll just be someone just randomly notices it.
Just one like neckbeard that goes into every film to find the goofs.
Not even that. You might just notice them by accident. A lot of people watch films.
Really?
do.
I thought it was just us.
Yeah.
We're the only movie podcast.
Oh no!
Yeah.
See, because I'm a special guest, I do other things, so I know that other people watch films.
You do other
people watch
things.
films.
I
You
know
don't
it's
just
crazy.
you don't just
Can you
devote your
name-
life to entertainment of excellence. I can't believe you. We're having
So
Lewis
you
G on.
I know. You seriously think you're going to get promoted from special guest if you don't think about the podcast 24/7?
I'm sorry.
Lewis G, send us an email. We'll make you a special guest.
I
Please.
used to respect you on this podcast, but your reputation is truly falling down.
Am I not economically viable?
No, you're not. All the
Hashtag
monetization that we have, you don't contribute to it.
hashtag Thom is over party. Okay, let's wrap this stuff up and give ratings. That's what we do here because we are the only
It
movie
is.
podcast.
The only one.
The only people that watch movies.
We are.
Exactly. That's why
Apart from
people
that
listen
one
to
person
us.
that noticed the bag thing. That's the only other person that's seen this film. Or any
Yeah.
film, in fact.
Well, this website definitely needs updating desperately. I keep putting it off. I'm gonna go.
Naughty.
High sevens at least. I don't think it's quite 8 level.
Damn, that's high. I was looking through. It seems like all the ratings I was making sure it was about the same as for me, and less than for other stuff, means that this movie is going at a 7.5.
I think I'm gonna go 7.7.
I'll go in the middle, 7.6.
Oh,
Falling down. That gives it the exact rating as the IMDb one. Well done us.
wait,
Well done.
what? Just to be clear, this was genuinely a coincidence. We didn't just like read the IMDb description and then give the IMDb rating. We did actually watch this film.
Wait, you watched this film?
Yeah, I'm the only person that ever watches
you watched
films.
it?
Ah, well.
Oh, I thought you watched Batman Forever.
Yeah.
That's Joel Schumacher.
I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I don't think that's Joel Schumacher.
No, but it's Michael Douglas.
Oh.
And it does have Bill Foster in it, so
Yeah.
nice. Well, there is a submission spotlight section, which nobody ever submits anything to. Send in your work of media or something like a short film or story or whatever you want us to review. We'll review it, and we're happy to have you on the podcast to talk about it. In fact, we'll if you even like hint that you're interested, we'll practically be on your door begging you, because we haven't had one for how many episodes now? Like, heckin' 20 or something. Please. And we're also stuck on 20 YouTube subscribers, none of whom seem interested in watching, given our last episode got 4 views in 7 days. All 4 of which were probably Ollie doing the timestamps, so subscribe to us on YouTube. It's probably better not to follow us on social media, given we never post on there, but if you want to, at ERV Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter's actually slightly more active because Ollie does that one. So yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get an update about the episode like once every 5 episodes, then follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Selling the podcast well here.
Hell yeah. And
There
we
we are.
also have a website, entertainmentofexcellence.weebly.com, and a mailing list which has long since been abandoned.
Yes.
Did you read yes?
I want to sign up for that. Oh, I already
Yeah.
have signed up. That's useful.
Yeah,
I
think
hope I
you
can
have.
get up-to-date recommendation lists.
Oh yeah. Up to date. All the way up to episode 20.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Is it recommendations time?
it is recommendations
It is.
time.
That's good
Recommend
because I've got
time.
no
Recommendation.
recommendations. All I can do is
How do
I
you
can
have no
give-
recommendations?
because I listened to Ollie's recommendations, Ben.
Bro.
As an
Well,
avid
thank you.
fan of the E of E podcast, I wanted to see what Ollie had recommended and then see if I can give it the Thom seal of approval.
The Thom Swill.
Kilo seal. of
The
approval.
the Thom Shaquille seal of approval.
Well, what
So
did you watch then?
I watched Nomadland. That got a very large Thom Shaquille seal of approval. And I watched Invincible, and that got a very large Shaquille Tom. It got
Shaquille Tom.
It got a
was
thing. It went bonk. Good. Watch. Yes. Good. Ollie, well done.
Yeah, I'll get around to watching those then.
Yeah, you should, Ollie.
Yeah.
I think you'd like them.
Tell you what, I'll take up some time and I'll tell you about Deadly Illusions, which was that awful film. So I'm really recommending you don't watch it because you know, on the podcast we give everything from 1 to 10, and if it's something like Birdemic, we don't just rate it 1 because of its objective quality, because like at least with Birdemic you can have a laugh, like it's enjoyable because of how bad it is. We only gave it 5 because it was 10 enjoyment, 1 quality. This is Deadly Illusions, and this is like, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 2. It's genuinely just a bad film. It has kind of good production quality, but it's just such a bad, like. Okay, so the plot is basically, you know, like that kind of standard psychological horror plot where it's like something happens and then, oh, is she going insane or is it real? Which is usually done like quite well. It's kind of hard not to at least have something that's like entertaining as a one-off watch with stuff like that. But no, they managed to mess this one up badly. It's just the plot's convoluted and you don't understand what's happening. You can't really empathize with any of the characters. All of the acting is just so dry and bland. Like nobody wants to be in it. Then there reaches a point where you reach a point where you don't know what's going on, but not in like the cool, ooh, is it real or is it made up? Is she going insane? No, it's you just genuinely don't know what's happening, and then you get confused because of that. It's genuinely one of the worst films I've seen in the past like 2 or 3 years. So yeah, don't
Wow.
go and watch it.
Pretty flattering
That's
recommendation.
a great recommendation.
Yeah, go watch it now.
Any recommendations, Ollie?
Oh, actually, I might have a
Oh.
genuine recommendation while I'm on it.
Nice.
So
Ben's making up for our special guest who got no recommendations, honestly.
Well,
Tom.
you cut my recommendation short last week as well.
yeah, well, shut up.
Well, yeah.
So, well, I just remembered, like, while we're on psychological horror films, there's the new Woman in the Window film on Netflix that I ended up watching. It was good.
When you say
I liked
new, isn't it from the 50s?
No, it's from
isn't it?
2021.
What am
It's
I
got-
thinking of?
It's got Anthony Mackie in it
Oh,
and Amy Adams and shit. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, that one.
I don't know if I'm being controversial, but
there's
I don't
one in
think Anthony Mackie.
1944. That's
Oh,
what I'm
maybe-
thinking of.
Maybe it's a
I
remake.
don't think Anthony Mackie's a very good actor, personally.
Oh, yeah. There's
Sorry.
one from the 40s.
Oh damn.
That's what I'm thinking of.
It's got a 5.7 on IMDb, but I mean, it's not like the greatest film I ever watched, but I'd say like maybe a bit high in the like sixes. It's a solid watch.
Yeah.
It's kind of you can't really say much about it without like spoiling it. It's again a kind of take on the is she going insane or is it real trope, and it does it quite well. But there are bits that get a bit confusing, but it kind of pulls it all together in the end. The performances are all really good. The main protagonist is a psychologist who has agoraphobia, so she can't leave her house without like having a breakdown. So it is sort of she sees stuff going on outside her window, but she can't do anything about them because she's confined to her house. So that's kind of an interesting take on it. I'm not sure I'd like watch it again, but it was a good watch. You should go watch it. I'm saying the word watch a lot. I'm not currently wearing a watch, but I am watching the time, and we have still got 15 minutes left. So, Ollie, tell us what you watched.
I mean, I've also got a recommendation of something I watched, but first of all, speaking of psychological films, we all also watched Taxi Driver this week.
Yeah. Oh! I could have said that as a.
Oh, you can't.
Why don't you?
Oh.
At the cinema.
Oh, do I get to steal it? Yeah, we saw Taxi Driver.
Do you get to Shaquille it?
Taxi Driver at the cinema.
Yeah, you can Shaquille it. I've got something else, so go ahead.
Yes. It was.
Tom's not recommending first. What a twit.
It was still. It still felt like pretty impactful, and the character. I mean, I guess it's got a similar kind of thing to Falling Down with person spiraling into violence, except this is less of a normal person. He was never a normal person. Was Travis Bickle, and it's pretty scary. Like Robert De Niro's performance is great in portraying this like extremely lonely man who's just fully gone off the rails. And yeah, it's a good Martin Scorsese film. And the soundtrack is vibing. The jazz. Oh.
I mean, it's basically one track, but that one track is just a bop. So you don't mind that it repeats like 5 times throughout the film.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have cared if it just played throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, just like 2 hours of that one track.
Yeah, so
I wish it was.
I've got a recommendation.
Okay.
I do.
What is it?
It's The Handmaiden.
Ooh.
So it's a South Korean film, and it's difficult to give a plot synopsis without giving too much away because basically, well, I'll read out the IMDb says a woman is hired as a handmaiden to a Japanese heiress, but secretly she is involved in a plot to defraud her, which is like there's basically 3 parts to this film, and the first one you kind of get the perspective of one of the characters, and there's a big twist at the end of the first part, and then it gives like a perspective of another one, and you sort of start to realize that different characters are like working together, and there's like different alliances forming throughout, and they all have quite similar like goals and motives, but there's like a lot of like deception and twists throughout that really keep you on edge, and just like I mean I haven't seen a great deal of Korean cinema, but it's like something like Parasite. The visuals and cinematography really stand out. It's got a really unique way of storytelling. I think the script is very tight, despite the fact that it's 2.5 hours. And I think that it's just a really interesting story. I think it's adapted from a book, but it's definitely one that you never you're never bored. It's like consistently engaging throughout, just because of all the different twists and the fact that the way that all the different characters and different story points kind of are related. And I think that it's a really good film, so I'd recommend that. I also watched on Disney Plus. They released, I think they've released the second episode now, but I watched the first episode of Marvel's new show MODOK, which is the first episode was all right. It's not like amazing, but it's fine. Like it's quite funny, I guess, but it's not like it won't blow you away. I don't know about the second episode, but it's not getting great reviews. It's just kind of average. And I've also started watching Breaking Bad, which I'm really enjoying as well.
Good.
Nice. Cheeky.
Yeah. Just so yeah, the Handmaiden gets Ollie Shaquille O'Neal of approval. I wonder if it'll get Thom's.
Oh,
Damn.
depends if I watch it.
Will do. Otherwise,
Mm,
you will be kicked off the podcast.
oh no. How do I watch it, Ollie?
On a little site called Netflix.
I've not heard of it.
Oh, in that case, you can go to Korea and watch it there.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
That sounds
North
easier.
Korea, that is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
What are we going to do next week then?
What are we going to do next week?
What are we gonna do?
Just gonna arbitrarily make a decision again.
Okay, well,
Should we literally just one of us close our eyes and pick something off the list?
Alright, I'll do it.
Okay.
what if I just pick a different one? What if I say we're doing Mitchell's versus the Machines?
No. You'll have
Okay,
to
we're
add
not
it to
doing
the,
that then.
you have
Can
to
put
add
it
it
on
to
the
the,
list.
right, add it to the bottom of the list.
And then that might be the.
No, I
the
might not do
thing.
it though.
Well, I'll do it then. I'm just going to put M, even though
Alright,
that's a
okay.
different film, but
Right, I'm
That's a
scrolling.
different film, yeah.
I know, but I can't
I'm
be bothered to
scrolling up
type
and
it.
down. Okay, I've closed my eyes. Tell me when to go.
You're gonna just
Oh.
end up on exiting the factory.
Go.
Can we do
Go.
USSR Lord of the Rings?
Tell me when to stop.
Go.
Go.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Oh, that's an alright choice actually.
Yeah, well done, Ben.
I'm so sad I didn't hit M. Alright, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. We're doing that next week, whatever that is.
Cool.
It was like an
The Chadwick
Oscar
Boseman
film,
one.
I think. Yeah.
Cheeky. Right, well, I guess we're ending 5 minutes early then. Go subscribe to us on YouTube, please. You don't have to do anything else. Please. I can't give you money, but I'll give you next week's episode. Subscribe, please. Thank you. Alright, see ya.
All right, see.
Alright, see ya.